All right, we're going to talk about the Alex Morse story now. The college Democrats. Now I'm going to shit on the Democrats. Are you guys ready for it? Because I'm ready for it, baby. Let's go. I want to do a quick Google search to see what kind of what the news is saying about Alex Morse, who's running for Congress, versus what the truth is. So here. So this is Alex Morse. He is like a child prodigy. He was a 22-year-old mayor of Holyoke in Massachusetts, and he was running against Representative Richard Neal in Congress, who is an establishment Democrat. Earlier this week, or last week rather, a story came out, and it's like not that significant, right? So most people didn't even pay attention to it. I briefly mentioned it, that this dude was being called out for sexual degeneracy. Is that a good way to say it? It's not even, they were saying that he may or may not have assaulted, sexual impropriety. Yeah, sex pest. They said he was a sex pest. He was a lecturer at a college campus, and apparently he was trying to fuck some of the students. Now, at the time, he's not a professor. He's not tenured. He is just a lecturer. He's gay. Also important thing to mention. And he was a 30-year-old lecturer who was talking to people that are only like 5 years younger than he is. And of course, a Justice Democrat as well. This person is a progressive. He is trying to primary a establishment Democrat in a place like Massachusetts, running for Massachusetts' 1st Congressional District, currently being held by the chair of the powerful Ways and Means Committee, Representative Richard Neal. Last week, tensions flared up after a letter written by the Massachusetts College Democrats informed Alex Morse, Neal's challenger, that he was no longer welcome at their events, a letter that was promptly published by the school's newspaper. All hell broke loose in that very localized, very small, I guess, community, but all hell also broke loose on left Twitter, because a lot of you f***ing idiots with rose emojis are too stupid to recognize when someone is being f***ing slandered and immediately jump to the most woke f***ing position that you can jump to and immediately think, okay, this guy is a mass rapist, I guess. We should not f***ing support him anymore. Let's immediately rush to the worst possible conclusion. Is there a progressive trying to unseat a powerful establishment Democratic incumbent? Boom, hit the sex pest button. Boom, all the fucking anarchists on Twitter will immediately jump and be like, oh, he's raping people. He must be raping people. Can we please have a moment of silence for the sexual assault survivors? Can we please do that? It's disgusting. There was a lot of people who were immediately like, what the fuck? This story sounds insane. So these guys released a letter, but there's not a single victim. No one has even mentioned, not a single person has come forward and been like, there's not a single accuser. There's not a single accuser. There's not a single victim. There's no crime even that's being mentioned, okay? And just that he was inappropriately messaging people in these campus events that he was going to. It's not against university policy, as I mentioned last week. And he's a lecturer, not a professor, so there's no power dynamic there either. We're going to get to the inappropriate messages in a second. I want to bury the lead as hard as I can on that one. Okay, just think. Just remember, college Democrats are claiming that these are inappropriate messages that are being sent. He was barred for allegedly having made students feel uncomfortable by sending them messages through Instagram and matching University of Massachusetts students on Tinder, in addition to having sexual conduct with students at UMass Amherst, where he was previously an adjunct professor. A lecturer, not a full-blown tenured professor. He's just teaching. This is like one level. This is the same level as a TA, pretty much, for those of you who don't understand the concept. You could be a student and like a graduate's assistant or something like that, and this is still the same. It's still inappropriate. Suck my cock, okay? There you go. Go. I sexually assaulted you by saying, suck my cock. That is sexual assault. I just sexually assaulted you by saying, suck my cock, which, by the way, is nowhere near as harmful in the realm of harmful language as what the Alex Morse allegedly told these people. I just did an actual sexual assault. If you think what Alex Morse did is sexual assault, you would definitely consider what I just did to be real, true sexual misconduct. TAs aren't supposed to fuck their students either. Not their students, you fucking idiot. Students that are not even related to his class. What, you think TAs don't fuck other students? Are you fucking insane?
I love the system.
Do you think when you're a TA, you just can't fuck? Shut the fuck up! And there's no fucking anyway. Yes, you must take an oath of celibacy if you are to be a TA or a graduate's assistant, like a priest or a pastor or whatever the fuck. You have to be a nun if you teach someone. No, keep pushing back, by the way, because the big reveal makes you look like a clown ass, all right? Morse rejected the allegations of impropriety from UMass College Democrats, whose aim is to train new generations of activists, operatives, and leaders and principals in the Democratic Party. He said that he believes that Neal was behind the College Democrats' action and timing, a charge Neal has denied. College Democrats have not alleged that Morse had inappropriate relationships with the students he taught, but rather accused him of having relationships with other students in Western Massachusetts, some at UMass Amherst. UMass, like most universities, only bars relationship between students and faculty have a supervisory or teaching relationship. Not all students generally. It would be insane if you were like, oh, you're a student yourself in many cases, but also a TA. You are not allowed to other students in college ever. With the allegations short of details or any student claiming to be a victim, the focus is shifted to the origin of the letter. Because, like I said, in the original accusation, there was not even anything tangible. Like, you couldn't even fucking put your finger on what he had done. And I said, this is ridiculous. Some people criticized me, said it's creepy. They shouldn't do that. I was like, it does not matter. Where does he say he's a TA? Adjunct is not a TA. It doesn't matter. If you are a lecturer at the age of 30, you don't have any significant power. You don't have any power over the fucking students as long as they're not in your fucking class. And these students were not in their class. These are not students in his class. It's not morally wrong, and it's not reprehensible, and it's not even creepy. Shut the fuck up, you annoying anti-sex weirdos. You Ben Shapiro fans, go back to watching Ben Shapiro and teaching abstinence-only education. So because there was no details and no student claiming to be the victim, Brian Grimm was like, this is a little suspicious, so let's look into it. So the man serving as chief strategist for the UMass Amherst College Democrats, Timothy Ennis, recently completed a class with Neal, who teaches a journalism course. Ennis, according to two members of the College Democrats chapter, was open about his hopes for working for Neal in the future. That's a little interesting. That's weird. Meanwhile, an aide with the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences, in which the journalism program sits, alerted the school's administration of evidence that the recently surfaced allegation against Holyoke Mayor Alex Morse are politically motivated, according to communication reviewed by The Intercept. Spokespersons for the administration did not respond to requests for comment. Claire Sheedy, a rising sophomore and a Morse supporter, was active in the College Democrats chapter and knew Ennis through their joint work on behalf of the Pete Buttigieg campaign for president. With Ennis handing off the reins of the organization to Sheedy, in November 2019, when Ennis was president of the College Democrats chapter, the pair were in New Hampshire together, campaigning for Pete Buttigieg, of course, and Ennis, she said, opened up about his respect for Neal in a car ride through New Hampshire. He spoke very highly of him. He always wanted to work with him and work his way from up there. Sheedy said she asked Ennis what he thought of Morse, and Ennis said Morse socialized with students in a way he found creepy, and that Morse had recently matched with a student on the Tinder dating app. Sheedy said she didn't think of it again until last week, when she and other members of the College Democrats were told by leadership that they had written a letter on behalf of the members to the local college paper, which had published an article on it. Wow. You know what I've noticed? Two things about American culture that I have to point out here. Beyond like white supremacy, their tendency to lick the boots of capital owners, all of that. Two common themes always emerge whenever I talk about two different kinds of issues. The criminal justice system. When it comes to the criminal justice system, the chat lights up because all of you cannot remove yourselves from your draconian predisposition. Like, it's just so fucking crazy. You're like, oh, someone's a criminal, murder him. And the same thing exists with sex. As soon as we have a conversation about sex or sexuality, you're like, whoa, sex happened. It's probably bad. Hands off. No sex whatsoever, because you're puritanical as fuck. No matter how woke you see yourself, when it comes to criminal justice, you immediately are like, well, rapists need to have their dicks cut off. And when it comes to sex, you're like, okay, they had sex, even if it's consensual, it doesn't matter. Sex being had somewhere, anywhere in the world, is rape, technically. So let's automatically hit that fucking rape button. College Democrat chats reveal year-old plan to engineer and leak Alex Morse accusations. This will sink his campaign, predicted a college Democrat leader hoping to work for Richard Neal. So now that I gave you the interest that Ennis had in working with Richard Neal, let's take a look at what the fuck he did. Where is it? There's an update from CDMA to its members on the Alex Morse story. Let's just immediately go to that. The College Democrats. Hi, everyone. I know lots have happened to you. I know you all have questions. I'd like to take some time to clarify our actions and our motivations. I recognize that you will all be left with questions. We wrote the letter to Alex Morse's campaign on the advice of legal counsel after several students, more than two, who have been mentioned in various media coverage, came to us with legitimate concerns. Our letter was based on the concerns of this group of individuals who felt there was a pattern of behavior who put college students in uncomfortable situations. These individuals helped us decide what to say and how to say it. The individual stories have not been shared because of concern of the relevant individuals for their own safety. While I cannot speak to anyone's motivations other than my own, we all condemn the homophobic attacks that have followed the publication of the article because everyone was like, oh, he's gay. Of course, he's a pedophile. Immediately. Like, immediately, people were just like, oh, yeah, you can't have sex as a 30-year-old gay man with like a 25-year-old person. Like, there's no sex having to ever be had. That's pedophilia, brother. Let Allah cleanse you. You guys want to see? You guys want to see what the sexual sex pest accusations were launched? First of all, it was people baiting for the most part. Here it is. Not overt, but it's very clear he's not talking to me for no reason. On October 5, Morse attended a College Democrats event at a local community college. Neal also appeared and was introduced by Ennis, who was at the time first enrolled in a journalism class Neal taught at UMass Amherst. Neal later told Ennis he was impressed by the event. Ennis claimed in the chats Morse sat on a panel with Abramson. After the event, Morse reached out to Abramson on Instagram to say it was a pleasure meeting. The two had previously matched on Tinder, Ennis said in the chats, but had never met up. The match on Tinder means both parties must swipe in the same direction in order to begin a conversation. I love the instep trying to describe Tinder to people. Not overt, but it's very clear he's not talking to me for no reason. Wow. Not even flirting on a dating app. Flirting on Instagram DMs. Thank you. Good to see you too, says Alex Morse. Yeah, Alex Morse says this to the person. How was the rest of your weekend? Pretty good. I went home last night to surprise my mom for her birthday. How about you? Another heart. Oh, that's nice. How was that? I had an event to go to last night to speak, then had a wine tasting party at a friend's house. Now I'm in North Adams about to march in a parade. Like, read that message. Also, don't mind me totally leading him on. Alex is the chat bubbles on the left. Neither party is talking to one another in a sexual way. Even if I fucked it up, even if I fucked up the direction, it literally doesn't matter. Do you get that, right? Like, neither party is being overtly sexual with one another. So, thank you. Good to see you, Abramson said. How was the rest of your weekend? Asked Moore. Sorry, this was Moore who said, how was the rest of your weekend? Pretty good. Went to my home to see my mommy. Oh, that was nice. How was that? I went to an event to go last night. Abramson shared the screenshot of the exchange with friends. Not overt, but it's very clear he's not talking to me for no reason, he said. Like, read that message. Also, don't mind me totally leading him on, he added. That he had accepted the message request because why not? This will sink his campaign, Ennis said, calling it part of a pattern of Morse dating students. That conversation with Abramson appears to be connected to the charge that underlies the College Democrats' statement against Morse, when they said that Morse sought out students that he met at our events privately and on social media in a manner widely understood by our generation to indicate intimacy. After Ennis concluded the chats with Abramson would sink Morse's campaign, the conversation between Morse and Abramson continued on for another several weeks. During that time period, Ennis was a student in Neal's, the politician in the journalist class at UMass Amherst, and had been open with other members of the College Democrats about hoping to land a job with Neal. Ironic that the only grooming that was occurring could have potentially been occurring between Neal and Ennis and not the other way around between Morse and anyone else. Tim Ennis, me giving the story to Politico, horny police, you. Ennis said in the chats that Morse had never matched with him or messaged him, but discussed an effort to find him and match. This is one of the most disgusting stories. Just absolutely trying to ruin the life of a 30-year-old dude who's been a mayor and is now running against an establishment Democrat exclusively because you want to land a fucking internship. It is literally entrapment. It is a classic case of honeypot with the worst outcome. You are trying to get a fucking internship with some dipshit establishment Democrat. You are such scum, dude. You are such fucking degenerate scum. And you want to know something? After I read this story, you know this motherfucker is going to have a job in the Democratic Party forever. That's it. This is like such blind loyalty to the establishment Democrats that you know this dude who tried to do this is not going to suffer the consequences of it. There's no way. I'm a gay guy wanting an internship, so let me use homophobia to get it. Like, let me try to honeypot a dude, catch him off guard so that I can destroy his campaign so that I can get a internship, dude. The most homophobic aspect of this entire story is declaring this sexual impropriety. That is, it's not the age gap trope that, like, you know, trying to signal that, like, gay people are pedophiles. It's the fact that this is a conversation that took place and they were like, this is actually sexual assault, potentially. This is reason to be scared. Have you talked to a gay person before? Like, if you looked at this conversation and thought that there is any sort of, even sexual undertone of this conversation, you have never been in the presence of a gay person, a gay man. I'm getting raped every day by gay people if this is sexual assault in my DMs. I'm getting raped by my chat every day from my gay fans if this is sex pest shit. Completely psychotic. I'm sorry, dude. This shit makes me so mad. It's so annoying. It literally is exactly how Republicans claim Democrats are like. And they are like that sometimes. Weaponizing fake sexual assault accusations and how quickly even leftists jumped on the bandwagon to be like, well, that guy's bad. Like the Sunrise Movement dropped him immediately. This is exactly the same shit that happened to Cenk. And this stuff makes me so mad, dude. It like I'm blind with rage when I see how quick leftist organizations are like, oh, well, that's let's not even look into this and just immediately be like, yeah, this guy is bad. Justice Democrats dropped Cenk for like satirical things that he wrote like 30 years ago when he was in college. And Sunrise immediately dropped Alex Morse, or at least suspended their endorsement, I guess, technically, because they were like, well, this came out. And not this. This part never came out. The worst part about it is that was for a college Democrats campus group to say, yeah, we're sussed out by him. This dude is being sus. When you engage in this shit, you legitimize exactly what conservatives have been saying about Me Too and exactly what conservatives have been saying about liberals. Stop doing this. If you are a leftist and you do this shit, if you immediately engage in the pylon, stop it. Because ultimately, in all of your infinite wokeness, what you end up doing is you end up actually harming real victims of sexual assault, because then no one believes them. It makes it much harder for people to come out. A source sent me the reply Alex Morse made today to the apology from the College Dems sent last night. We read the apology the College Dems put out last night. Dear Haley, I've read the letter addressed to your membership, and I want to thank you for your thoughtfulness. I also want to thank you for acknowledging and condemning the homophobic nature of some of the responses to the story. Although recent reporting has shown that your members were motivated by politics, I understand that my interaction with some of your members of your organization may have left them feeling uncomfortable. While I truly didn't think I'd done anything that would cause discomfort, I understand in a new way how my power as a mayor and a lecturer affects how I'm received in social settings. No, don't concede, man. Don't concede. No, that's bitch-made shit, dude. His response should have been like, I'm going to even more students now. Sucks to suck. Suck my cock, okay? Consensually, of course. Don't even concede to any of these sickos, okay? I'm going to your dads. I'm going to suck your dad's dicks, okay? Once I'm done all the students, I'm going to suck their dad's cocks too. Every ball sack in the Holly Oak, Massachusetts vicinity will be empty after I'm done with this shit. I'm going to clap everyone's ass. I'm going to go verse just so I can hit both and also take it at the same time. That's the response you should have in this circumstance. Disgusting, dude. Don't concede to any of these psychopaths. These vultures, dude. These absolute maniacal vultures. Going forward, I'm committed to being more aware of power dynamics in my interactions with other people. Like, what the fuck does that mean, dude? Like, what does that mean? Are you just not allowed to fuck? Yeah, he can only fuck Pete Buttigieg going forward. Sorry, only gay mayor. You love your if you're a mayor, you can only fuck Pete Buttigieg. And also only during his mayoral tenure, by the way. If he's no longer mayor and you fuck him, all of a sudden, that's rape, dude. You're raping Pete Buttigieg now. That's fucked. Like, the people that are doing all of this just to fucking bomb Justice Democrats, like, campaign against an incumbent just so they can maybe secure an internship. The reason why they're doing this is because they're also r/neoliberal Reddit moderators. Like, they have like this weird ideological disposition towards neoliberalism. They like it. They like, this is their identity now. Like, imagine doing this for that. Imagine doing this for that reason, to work so you can secure a job with some 75-year-old vulturous pedophile that, you know, is going to do everything in his power to keep giving arms to Saudi Arabia to do genocide, or make sure that, you know, Americans can't get any sort of socialized medicine, as a Democrat, by the way. And then you're working at, and your duties for that guy in your unpaid internship is just to like post Beyonce gifts on Twitter. Doing all of this, ruining a person's life exclusively for that, is one of the most psychotic things. Like, that is honestly, that's like real ISIS shit, okay? You have this insane, blind, almost religious loyalty to the altar of neoliberalism. That's radical Islam in the way that Americans understand radical Islam. That's it. That's the real That's the real psychotic religious fervor. Not even religious, ideological fervor